Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Kira and today we are creating a year-long colouring plans list. If you've been with me for a while, you'll probably be already aware that I am a massive fan of book-related content on YouTube, which is commonly known as BookTube. And one of the things that booktubers usually do is at the start of each new year, they create a list of books that they want to read for the next 12 months, usually correlating to whatever that year is. So for this year, you'll see a lot of booktubers do 25 books to read in 2025. So I thought it'd be fun to put a colouring spin on that concept. At first, I considered doing 25 books to colour in 2025, but because I have 30 books in my collection, it didn't seem like a very exciting approach. So instead, I've decided to create a list of 25 pages that I want to colour in 2025. And to make it a little bit spicier, I'll be pulling random colouring prompts from my prompt jar to pick the pages. However, before we jump into the page picking process, I do have a little New Year's treat to share with you. I've created a free colouring prompt PDF that you can download from my Ko-fi store. So if you'd like to play along at home, just click the link in the description to my Ko-fi store, download the PDF, print it out, and create your own colouring prompt jar to match my own. Now let's chat about my game plan for this video. If I only had 25 books in my collection, I could have easily just picked one page from each book. But since I have 30 books, I've decided to omit the 5 most colouring books in my collection from this challenge. So as you can see from my tracker here, those 5 books are Small Victories, Rooms of Wonder, Mindrise Dirge Asian, Adorable Town, and Worlds of Wonder. So with those books set aside, I'm left with 25 books to work with. They're all sitting here in front of me. It's a very large pile of colouring books. And for each one, I'm going to pull a random prompt from my prompt jar, and that prompt will guide me in picking a specific page from the book to add to my 25 pages to colour in 2025 list. So I'm not going to be picking out my books in any particular order. I'm just going to grab whichever is on the top of the pile. So the first book we're going to be picking a prompt for is Boule de Poire by Diane Dufour. I am feeling slightly nervous about this. Hopefully I get some good prompts that actually correlate to the colouring book. But that is part of the challenge. So let's have a look. What prompt am I going to get for this book? An architectural page. When I wrote this prompt, I was thinking a page that had, mainly buildings. There's not many building pages in this book, which is all about animals, so let's see what I can find. Okay, so for each of the prompts, I'm gonna try and pick 2 options for each book, and then we'll narrow it down to 1 together. So an architectural page, all I could really do is pick 2 pages that had some sort of building in them, which wasn't too many. And the 2 that I have picked out, this one here is the first one, kind of like a city apartment scene. And this is the best sort of architectural element that I could find. And then the second option is this one here. Obviously we have the barn in the background, we have the fencing. I think this horse is absolutely adorable. But when it comes to architecture, I feel like the buildings is a little bit more apt. So I'm going to go with this as my first option and the first page to add to my 2025 list. Book number 2 is Mindrise Dirge Africa by Rita Berman. I would have loved that architectural prompt for this one, but we'll see how this goes. Come on, be a good one, be a good one. Interesting. A page based on a holiday. When I wrote this prompt, I was thinking, you could choose a page that had 4-leaf clovers and that could be based on St. Patrick's Day, or perhaps it had some eggs in it and you could say it was for Easter. I'm not sure if this is the best book for this prompt, but we have to make it work. The prompt jar has chosen. It was so hard to find a page based on a holiday in this book, and the page that I've chosen, I've only been able to find one, is a little bit of a stretch. The page I have chosen, which I'll have to do in February, if I can get to it, is this love heart page here. I feel like it could be based on Valentine's Day. I could do, a very red and pink color palette. As I said, it's a bit of a stretch, but it's the best I could do with the prompt and this book. Book number 3 is Mindrise Dirt Europa by Rita Berman. Yet again, the previous prompt would have been a great choice for this book, but the prompt jar's really challenging me today. Let's have a look-see. A collage page. Yes, this one is good. This one works. What I mean by a collage page is not a complete scene, but rather a page that has a whole bunch of small elements to it. Now, Rita Berman always does include quite a few miniature collage type pages in her coloring book, so I had a plethora to choose from in Europa, but I did narrow it down to 2. So the first one, I believe Rita Berman herself has colored this page, so it'd be kind of fun to replicate her style as I usually like to do. But the second one I'm choosing between is this one. I love this one. I do love it when these miniature style pages are encapsulated within some sort of shape. So obviously we have some squares here, and I think this one is calling my name just a tad more. The next book is My Tiny Forest by Nina Steiner. Okie dokie, what is it? If I can open it. No! I don't know how I'm gonna make this one work for this book. Far out. An ocean-themed page. An ocean-themed page for a forest coloring book. Why, universe? Why? I said to myself when I was creating these prompts, if for some reason I picked out a prompt that didn't correlate to the coloring book, I had to make the page work for the prompt. So I'm gonna have to somehow turn a forest page into an underwater page. I honestly think the prompt that I got for this book was probably the worst prompt that I could have received. So it really is a stretch, the 2 pages that I've chosen. Honestly, I've just chosen 2 pages that have some sort of water element in it. I wouldn't call them ocean-themed pages, but I'm doing the best that I can. So the first option is this one. You're probably thinking, Kira, where is the water element? Well, right at the bottom here, I'm pretty sure this is a lake of some kind, some sort of river. Over here, we got a lake as well. So that is option number 1. I know, not ocean themed, but I'm doing the best that I can. And then the second option is this one here. I think when I initially saw this page, I thought this was a road, but it makes a lot more sense that this deer is drinking from this river. Since this river is a little bit more prominent, I'm gonna go with this option here to suit the prompt a tiny bit more. If I wanted to get really experimentative, I could pretend this whole scene here is underwater. I could do it in a completely blue color palette. It might look a little bit strange, but I'll have a think about it and see how I go. Let me know in the comments if you think that would be an interesting idea to take on. Book number 5 is Year of Witches by Usaku. Please be gentle on me this time, prompt jar. Okay, that's all right. Oh, I just dropped it. A page with a love heart. Surely there is a page in this book that has a love heart. Otherwise, I have to incorporate a love heart into one of the pages somehow. I don't know if it was a surprise to me, but there were quite a few pages in this book that had love hearts in it. The first page that I tabbed is this one here. I'll let you see if you can find the love hearts on the page. Can you see them? Can you see them? They are over here on this tablecloth, I'm assuming that it is. And we all know how much I love this book, so that is a definite contender. And then the second one that I've chosen is a little bit more obscure, but I don't know if these are intended to be love hearts. Perhaps they are love heart shaped apples on this little witch's jumper. However, I am a real massive fan of the more intricate pages in this book, so I'm going to go with the first option that I showed you, this one here. I think it's going to be a lot of fun to colour. Next up, I believe this is number 6, we have Magical Woodland by Kate Pellerin. This is definitely a very, what's the word? It's very specific, the colouring pages, so hopefully I don't have another instance with My Tiny Forest. Okay. A page based on your zodiac sign. So I'm a Cancer, which means I have to find a page with a crab in it, which I very much doubt there is a crab in this book. Or I was thinking because I am, you know, a water zodiac sign, I could find a page that is water related. But yet again, this is a woodland book. We'll see what we can do.
Okay, this was another one where I really had to get inventive with the interpretation of the prompt. I tried to find some water-themed pages. There is nothing in this book. There are no crabs. So instead, I am basing it off the characteristics of my zodiac sign, which is often interpreted as, we're very much homebodies, we like to stay in our shell. And so I picked two options that kind of relate to that. I look at this page and I think this girl here could be maybe a Cancerian. She looks very shy, introverted, keeps to herself. Like I said, this is definitely stretching the interpretation of the prompt quite a bit. And then we have this second page here. This little elf-like creature, I think this is her home, her little home library. She's curled up with a book and she's nice and cozy. And this page here really does feel like me because I am a massive reader. I love to read. So I'm going to go with this page here because it just feels more apt to the prompt.
Next up is Spooky by Sarah Shutek. Sarah Shuchik. Alright, be kind to me. Okay, that's not too bad. A page set in spring. I should be able to work with that.
I feel like spring is sometimes a little bit hard to truly define in a coloring book. But when I think about spring, I think about a lot of flowers. So basically, I just chose the most florally pages in this book. Option number 1, we have Delilah the cat doing some gardening, which feels like, a spring activity. And then option number 2, which I think is the one I'm going to go with just because I love the jar elements in this book. I feel like I could even add some sort of text here that maybe is like a spring jar or I don't know, something spring related. I feel like I can come up with something a little bit more inventive than that. But this cat is obviously surrounded by flowers in this little jar and I think it's going to be so much fun to color. So that is the option that I'm picking.
Book number 8 is A Million Little Monsters by Lulu Mayo. There's going to be a lot of Lulu Mayo books in this video. Hopefully I get a prompt that's like set at nighttime or something like that. I feel like that would be really good for this book. Okay. This is a fun one. A page chosen by a family member. Luckily, my partner is home today, so I can get him to look through this book and choose a page for me.
So I gave this book to my partner and I said, choose a page for me to color in this year. And he gave me 2 options, but then told me which one he would more prefer me to color. This was the first option here. He told me that the reason he liked this page was because of the robots and he thought that was quite unusual. Personally, I would never pick this page because coloring robots does not appeal to me. And then the second option that he gave me, and is the one that he ultimately went with, is this one here. I asked him why he liked this page so much, and he said that, there was a cat there, there was a coffee, which he loves his coffee. He wanted me to color this little girl so it looked like me. And for some reason he said that was him. Don't know why he said that, but anyway, this is the page that my partner chose for me to add to the list.
All of my Lulu Mayo books are together in this pile, so we're just gonna do them all at the same time, or not all at the same time, but consecutively. This is A Million Mermaids, book number 9. Would have been nice to have the underwater themed prompt for this one, but alas not. This is a nice one. I only had one of these prompts in the jar. Free pick. I get to choose whatever page I want from this book.
I will admit it was nice to have a bit of freedom when choosing pages for this book. The first option that I've gone with is this one here. I just think it's absolutely adorable. And then the second option that I picked out is this one here. And I definitely think I'm going to go with this one just because I can have so much fun with all the color of these flowers. And something I would really like to try using for this page is some sort of pearlescent medium for the seashell. I've seen a lot of people do that and I want to have a go at it, so this is the option I'm going with for this prompt.
Book numero 10 is A Million Sea Creatures by Lulu Mayo. Another book that would have been nice to have an underwater prompt. Perfect! A page set in summer. Yes, water, tropical, summer. Perfect prompt.
I really feel like I could have chosen any page from this book because, it is the sea, and if you choose the right color palette, it can feel very summery. And the first one we have is this page here. Doesn't this just scream summer to you? We've got all these creatures and this little person here. They're on some pool floats and they're lapping up that summer sun. And then I chose this one here because this one could be turned into a summer sun, I suppose, but it is giving me star energy as well. So you could turn this into a night scene, which doesn't feel as summery to me. So I think I'm gonna go with the first option. And we all know that I'm a massive fan of otters, so I had to choose this page.
I've lost count now of what book we're up to, but the next one is A Million Baby Animals by Lulu Mayo. I really do want to do a few more pages in this book in 2025. It is so freaking cute. Oh, I've just pulled out 3 prompts. There we go. No! This is not gonna work for this book. A page with technology. I don't know if there are any pages in this book that have some sort of technology. When I was writing this prompt, I was thinking, maybe there's a computer, maybe there's a telephone. I might have to get creative with what I mean by the word technology.
You will never believe it. I actually found 2 options in this book that have some sort of technology. I was not expecting that. The first option, this page here, if you can see it, there is a little radio stereo thing in the corner over here, which is obviously some sort of technology. So this page works really well for the prompt. And the second option is a teensy bit more of a stretch. It's this page here, and I've chosen it because we've got some spaceships here, which feel like some sort of alien technology. So I could choose that page, but this one feels more up my alley. I usually don't like coloring a page next to one that I've already colored because I like to spread out the colored pages in my books a bit more, but the prompt jar is spoken and I'm choosing this one here.
Okay, this is the last Lulu Mayo book I have. We have A Million Magical Creatures. All right. Okay, good. A page with a rainbow. I for sure know that there are rainbows in this book, so good prompt for a good book.
Now, this book has a plethora of options when it comes to rainbows within the pages, but I've just picked out my 2 favorites. The first is one from my last video that I said I'm most excited to color in this book. I really just want to have so much fun with color on this page. And I love how you've got a moon, you've got a sun, and you've also got some night sky elements at the bottom here as well. So it'll be a really interesting page to color and unleash my creativity on. And then the second option that I really liked, this feels like some enoki mushroom type thing down here, as well as this mushroom here. However, because the other one was one of my favorites to color in this book, I am going to go with that option. I really want to plan this one out though, because I think it could look really amazing.
Next up, we have How to Draw Inky Wonderlands by Johanna Basford. I definitely could get really creative with any prompt for this book, since you are, for the most part, adding your own elements and drawings to the coloring pages. This could definitely be interesting. Oh, easy peasy. A page with a light source. I can do that, no worries. I can either draw a light bulb in or something like that, or I'm sure there's some sort of light source I can create in any of these pages.
Something really ironic about this prompt is that the 2 pages that I've already colored in this book both have light sources in them, which I just think crazy coincidence. But I have found 2 options in this book where there's a light source already present. I thought I was going to have to draw my own in, but I did find 2 options. The first is this one here, and obviously there's a little lamp there that I can utilize as my light source. I think maybe what I'd do is add some more line details to the leaves of this page, just because they are looking a little bit blank and bare at the moment. And then the second option that I have to show you is this double page spread here. You can see a similar style lamp in the corner over here. However, I don't like how this is only half a page. It just feels a little bit incomplete for me to color, so I am going to go with this option here. I really want to have some fun with different colors. I don't want to do the traditional green for the leaves, so this will be a fun one to add to the list.
We then have another favorite of mine, Shooting Star by Maria Troll. I know there is a prompt in here that is a spaced themed page prompt, so that would be perfect for this book. I could pretty much choose any page. Interesting, okay. A page that reminds you of childhood. I really like this prompt because it's really up to your own personal interpretation. It could be a page that reminds you of your own childhood, maybe a memory, or maybe just childhood in general. I know there are a few children illustrations in this book, so this one should work.
Okay, so I found two options from this book, both that remind me of my own personal childhood. The first is this one here, and the reason that I've chosen this one is because I have this teddy bear. It's still at my parents' house in storage that I was absolutely obsessed with. It was called Big Ted, and whenever I look at this page, it reminds me of that beloved teddy bear. And this is the second one here. This one's a little bit more vague when it comes to my childhood, but I like to dress up a lot as a kid. I would go through my little costume box, put on random outfits, and I did love to be a princess every now and again. However, because that teddy bear does have such a special place in my heart, I am going to go with the first option. The teddy bear from my childhood was this like golden yellow color, so that's how I'm going to color this guy. And it does feel really special to color a page based on, you know, a memory from my life.
We then have this book, which is Forest and Nature by Rayhan Udachi. They're known as Raider Prince on Etsy. I should probably just say that from now on. A page set in a forest would be a great prompt for this book. Maybe we can manifest it. A page in a forest, a page in a forest, a page in a forest. Keep pulling out a gazillion prompts at a time. Why are you doing this to me, Prompter? Now you give me a spaced theme page prompt. I manifested this at the wrong time.
The pages I've chosen really aren't that space themed. I've basically just chosen the two pages that have the most stars in them. So the first option, I do really love this page, and I think it's such a unique concept of having this campground inside a suitcase. Obviously we have a bunch of stars in the background here, as well as a moon, so kind of space themed. And then we have this one here, which is actually kind of similar to the other page, but I am gonna go with the first option just because the space element seems a little bit more prominent. I could turn this into a night sky in the background, really enhance the space vibes. And I just think the concept is really unique. So this is the option I'm going to go with.
The next three books we're going to go through are all Johanna Basford books. First up is a very seasonal book. We have Johanna's Christmas. Whatever page I choose in this, I probably won't colour until the end of the year, or perhaps I'll do it for Christmas in July, who knows? A page based on a holiday would have been a great prompt for this one. A page set inside a jar. I know there is a snow globe page, and I feel like that is jar-like enough for me.
So the two options I've picked from this book, number one is that snow globe page that I was telling you about. This is the most jar-like object that I could find in this book, and it's also one that I don't think is necessarily Christmassy either. I think most of the time snow globes are associated with Christmas. However, I don't think they have to be either, so that is the first option. And then the second option is one that I think you could turn into a snow globe. I've seen someone on Pinterest turn this into a snow globe page by putting the polar bear within a circular shape. You could even have this ice rock section here as the bottom of the snow globe, and then have the jar-like element coming out around here. However, I think I am going to go with this option here. It just feels more right to me, so this is the option that I'm going to be adding to the list.
The next Johanna book we have is World of Flowers. A floral prompt would be great for this book. A page with a sweet treat. Surely there is a page in this book that has a sweet treat. Otherwise, I think I could easily add one in.
I was actually expecting there to be more sweet treats in this book, but there are hardly any at all. I mean, it is called World of Flowers, so it's predominantly just all flowers in the pages, but I found two that somewhat suit the prompt, I suppose. The first is this double page spread that is absolutely terrifying to me and not one I would ordinarily choose, I don't think. But I thought, where is it? These little jars here, you could turn these into little lollies. Like, I feel like they're maybe more supposed to be seeds or something like that. And then the second option, yet again, stretching the definition of a sweet treat, but obviously we have an apple here and apples are sweet and perhaps, you know, apples are a treat for some people, maybe. And that other double page spread just terrifies the life out of me. So I'm gonna go with this one here. Even though this is supposed to be a challenging list of pages, I still want to color the pages at the end of the day. And this is one I'd want to color more. So this is the one that's going on the list.
The last Johanna book for this video is Magical Jungle. I can't remember if I have a page set in a jungle prompt in here. That would be perfect, prompt jar, but I know you're not gonna do that for me. Oh no. I mean, this prompt would suck for any book. The most detailed page. So I have to find the most detailed page in this book, and because this is an older Johanna Basford book, she had some very detailed pages. I know whatever page I have to choose in this is gonna be very intricate.
Oh my goodness, when I was flipping through this, I felt like I could have tabbed a majority of the pages because there are such intricate pages in this book. And I feel like the definition of a detailed page is different to everyone. But what I've done is chosen 2 pages that feel very detailed, but also pages that I would want to color, because usually I'm not a massive fan of Johanna's super detailed pages. The first of which is this page here. Holy moly, I look at this and it really scares me. However, I do also see it as a good challenge for one with color. I was thinking I could almost do each section as a different monochromatic color scheme, and that could also play in with my my goal that I set myself where I wanted to do a monochromatic challenge. So that is option number 1 that terrifies the life out of me. And then the second one is at the back of the book here, which is like the sort of single page side section of the book. I could also do the monochromatic challenge with this page, because obviously this page is split up into 4 sections and it might make a little bit more sense. So I'm gonna go with this option, also because I can use alcohol markers and that'll make the page go by a little bit faster.
We now have another Maria Troll book. This is Maria Troll's Universe. This is a compilation of a bunch of her previous books. So I feel like there's a lot of varied subject matter in this book, so I should be able to make any prompt work. I can do that. A page with 2 or more people. I'm pretty sure there are pages with 2 or more people in this book. Otherwise, I'm gonna have to draw my own person in. No, I can't do that. But the prompt set, oh, we'll see. Let's not freak myself out yet.
I really did think there were going to be a few more options in this book when it came to 2 people in a page, but I did find 2 that somewhat have 2 people in them. This is the first option that I found. This one is, I feel like maybe bending the rules a little bit, or perhaps I'm just getting really creative. But technically we have 1 person here and then 1 person's hand here. It didn't say there had to be a whole person in the page, right? So that's the first option I could go with. And then the second option, which isn't stretching the prompt as much, is this one here. I do really love this page. I love the fact that this house is in the shape of a teapot. I think that's super creative. Now I feel like this is technically a fairy, but you know, it's still a person-like element. So I'm saying that's person number 1, and then we have second person down here. So I think I am gonna go with this page here, just because it feels a little bit more apt for the prompt and not like I'm cheating as much. We then have the most luxe book in my collection. This is Fairy Tales and Folklore by Emily Lederhall Oberg. Does anyone else feel like when they get a really expensive coloring book or one that's just super gorgeous, they get really scared to start a page? That's how I feel with this book. This is another one with a lot of varied subject matter, so I feel like I could make most prompts work. Yes, this one will work. A page with an instrument.
In my head, I can see a mouse with like a French horn or some sort of brass instrument. I'm pretty sure there's a page like that in this book.
I really thought there were more instrument pages in this book for some reason. Perhaps it was in her older book, but anyway, I did find two options. The first option is this one here, which does feel very Christmassy because we obviously have a box of ornaments that are going on here. So perhaps I'll have to save this for the Christmas time, but I don't feel like I necessarily have to. And this must have been the page that I was thinking about when I was thinking of a mouse with a French horn. And then the second page that has an instrument is this one here, right in the corner. I'm really bad with my brass instruments. I can never name them. So is this a trumpet? I feel like I'm just embarrassing myself now, but this page is also filled with ornaments as well. It's very reminiscent of that other page. However, the first one is calling my name just a tad more. I really love this house here and I love coloring mushrooms, so this is the option I'm gonna go with.
We then have the gorgeous Enchanted Earth by Melpomene Chetzepanagiotou. Whenever I look at this book, I just keep thinking about her new book coming out, Dream Voyage. I am so excited for it. But we're picking a prompt for Enchanted Earth right now. Let's get a good one. Okay, a page set in autumn. It looks like we're gonna have all the seasonal prompts in this video.
Now, 2 out of the 3 pages that I've colored in this book are very autumnal and are probably the 2 options that I would have gone with had I not colored them already. So I've chosen the next 2 best options, which I feel like are subjectively autumnal. Whenever I see a whole bunch of mushrooms in a page, it really does feel like autumn to me. Not sure why, but if you choose the right color palette, it can definitely be quite the autumnal page. And then the second page I have, anything somewhat spooky reminds me of autumn, the October period, even though October is not autumn here in Australia, but we always seem to go off the Northern Hemisphere trends. So I really love this page. However, the other one just feels more autumnal to me. So I am going to go with this option here. I do really love coloring mushrooms, so I think this one will be a lot of fun for me to color.
The final 4 books in this video are all Japanese coloring books. These books are so gorgeous. Let's start off with my first ever Eerie book in my collection. I said in my last video that I'm not sure how I'm going to tackle these pages, so hopefully I don't get too challenging of a prompt. Amazing, I can do that. A page set in winter. I'm pretty sure there are some snowy pages in this book, but otherwise it's fairly easy to just add your own snow elements to a page, so this should be fine. This should be fine.
I really thought there were going to be more winter-themed pages in this book, but there weren't too many. I think there are a lot of pages you can turn into sort of snowy landscapes, but I did find 2 that felt quite wintry. This is the first one. I won't be choosing this option just because it's not my preference when it comes to coloring pages. However, these are obviously some snowflake-esque shapes, so you could color this for a winter-themed page. But the option I'm gonna go with is this one here. This is obviously set at Christmas time, so I might do it in the Christmas in July period or either at the end of the year. And you can see here just by the little cat's paw prints that this is obviously snow. An absolute adorable page and one of the top pages I was most excited to color in this book.
The last 3 books are all part of the Tokimekyu series. Let's start off with, what is this one? Polar Bear's Adventure Cruise. Here we go. Oh, I pulled out 2 again. I think this one will work. A page without a background. I think there's a few pages in this book that don't have a background. I guess we'll find out.
Okay, so there were quite a few options in this book that didn't really have, a strong, definite background, but a lot of them I wasn't super interested in coloring, so I've picked the 2 that were calling to me the most out of the book. First option is this one here, and obviously there's no definite background here, so I could add my own, or I could just work with the foreground elements on the page. I haven't colored food in a while, so maybe this would be good to add to my list. The second option is kind of within that collage vein. This is obviously a Halloween themed page. I think it's really cute, but I don't know, the first option is calling my name more. Even though it doesn't have a background, it still feels like a complete scene, and I do prefer those pages more in my coloring books, so this is the option I'm gonna go with.
Book number 24, Seasonal Wreaths of Plants and Friends. This is a very skinny book, so there's not a lot of options, but we'll see what happens. But because it's a seasonal book, I feel like it should work for a lot of prompts. A page with mountains. From what I can remember, I don't think there's any mountain pages in this book since it's predominantly wreaths. I might have to do some mountain drawing.
I was only able to find one option in this book. There were no mountains whatsoever in any of the pages, so I've chosen a page where I can add my own mountains in, and it is this page here. This is one of the non-wreath pages in this book, and I thought I could add in some grassy mountains behind the horses here. I think that could look really cute. It'll also just help fill in the sky a little bit more, so I don't have to worry about doing a really intricate sky or anything like that. So that's the option that I'm going with.
If you got to this part of the video, let me know by leaving a love heart emoji in the comments below. You are seriously a real one. It's been a long video, but we're nearly at the end. Here we go. I hope we get a really nice prompt to finish off with. I need to get a larger prompt jar because my hand is struggling to fit in here to get the prompts out. Okay, here we go. No, I wanted a nice one, universe. Okay, no, I'm being a bit dramatic. It's not that bad. A page with a black background. I'm fairly sure there's not any black background pages already in this book, so I'm gonna have to add my own black background into one of the pages.
As I thought, there are no pages in this book that have, a strong black background. So what I've done is chosen two options where I could add my own black background in. The first option, I showed this in my last video, and I actually was speaking about how I think it would look great with a black background. Very ironic that I got the black background prompt for this book. And then the second option is this Halloween page here. I really do love this one as well. And a black background does feel really right for the sky. So I think I'm actually gonna go with this option. I might not even do like a really strong black background, but more of a faded out one with some watercolor. So yeah, this is the one I'm gonna add to the list for this book.
And there you have it, team. Those are my 25 pages that I'm planning / challenging myself to color in 2025. There are definitely some interesting picks in there, but that's why I love using a prompt jar. It gets me out of my comfort zone and pushes me to color pages that I probably wouldn't ordinarily have chosen. As I said at the beginning of the video, if you'd like to create your own 25 pages to color in 2025 list, you can go ahead and download the free coloring prompt PDF from my Ko-fi store from the link in the description. If you are planning on taking on this challenge yourself, definitely let me know in the comments below. I'd love to hear all about your picks. Until next time, happy coloring, friends. Have a good day, have a good life, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!